Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're going to completely demystify the black box of generative AI. If you've been using these tools and kind of wondering what on earth is happening behind the screen, well, you're exactly in the right place. We are going to strip away the intimidating math, the dense coding, jargon, and all the hype to give you a really clear, logical mental model of how this technology actually functions. We'll be basing our breakdown today on an incredible comprehensive guide from Brolly Academy. So get ready to see exactly how the machine thinks. Okay, let's just dive right into our roadmap. We'll start by defining what generative AI actually is. We'll map out the macro-level core AI pipeline, and then we'll zoom all the way in to see the micro-level processes inside a language model. After that, we'll look at how these models interact with real-world data using RAG, and finally, we'll cover their inherent limitations. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, what is generative AI? We are starting with the broad strokes here. Now, let's instantly clear up a really common point of confusion. You probably hear generative AI and LLM thrown around a lot, often like they mean the exact same thing, but they actually don't. Generative AI is this giant umbrella category that encompasses creating text, images, audio, music, video, and even 3D content. An LLM, which stands for Large Language Model, is just one specific, highly specialized type of generative AI, under that huge umbrella that primarily focuses on text and code. But before these models can do anything at all, they have to be built, and that results in what we call a foundation model. You can think of a foundation model as a massive, newly built, highly adaptable factory. The factory has all the machinery, the power, and the infrastructure ready to go, but it hasn't actually been assigned a specific niche product to manufacture yet. Through early large-scale training, this foundation model acquires a vast, general understanding of patterns, which serves as a versatile base that can later be fine-tuned for specialized tasks. And that brings us perfectly to Section 2, the core AI pipeline. Let's look at the actual macro process of building and using the machine. So the crucial point here is understanding this 6-step end-to-end AI assembly line. It all starts with data, collecting and preparing the raw materials. Then comes training, where the system actually learns the patterns. That results in the model itself, our trained foundation. Then we cross over into the user side of things. You provide a prompt, the model performs inference, which is just a fancy word for processing your prompt, and finally, it delivers the output. Every single time you interact with an AI, you are triggering the back half of this exact pipeline. There is a stark contrast between the two main phases of that pipeline, training and inference. Training is absolutely the heavy lifting. This takes massive amounts of computing power and time because the model is repeatedly studying examples, making predictions, calculating its errors, and adjusting its internal numerical parameters to optimize its foundation. Inference, on the other hand, is the immediate action. When you submit a prompt, the model doesn't start learning all over again from scratch. It simply uses the parameters it already optimized during training to process your input and generate new content right on the spot. Now, let's move right along to Section 3, inside a language model. We are going to zoom all the way in, from that macro factory pipeline down to the microscopic level of language generation. We really want to see exactly what happens inside the machine the very millisecond you hit enter on your keyboard. Here is the rapid, consecutive micropipeline that modern language models use to process your text. You give it a prompt, the model instantly chops that prompt into tokens. Those tokens are then converted into numerical representations. Because remember, AI doesn't read English, it reads math. Those numbers are blasted through neural network processing, leading to a prediction, and finally, the output. It happens literally in the blink of an eye, but this exact sequence fires every single time. Let's break this down a bit more by looking at tokens. You can think of tokens as the raw puzzle pieces of language for an AI. A major misconception out there is that AI reads word by word, but a token count is actually distinct from a standard word count. A simple token might be a whole word, like apple, but a complex word could be chopped up into 3 or 4 separate pieces. Hilariously enough, even a single comma or a question mark is processed as its own unique unit of information. Once the prompt is tokenized and turned into numbers, it enters the transformer. This is a hugely vital concept. A transformer is a specific neural network architecture that completely revolutionized AI. And why? Because of its attention mechanisms. Instead of just reading a sentence left to right like we do, the attention mechanism allows the model to look at all the surrounding tokens at once. This helps it deeply understand the context and the complex relationships between different words in your prompt. And that deep contextual understanding leads directly to this, next token prediction. This is essentially the magic trick of language generation. Generating text is basically an incredibly fast, highly educated game of predicting the next puzzle piece. Based on the patterns it learned during training and the context of your prompt, the model calculates the mathematical probability of what the very next token should be. It picks one, adds it to the sequence, and then repeats the whole guessing game for the next token, over and over and over again, until your answer is entirely written. Pretty wild, right? Let's shift our focus now to Section 4, adding context with RAG. How do we bridge the gap between a static AI model and dynamic reality?
To answer that, we have to boldly address a very common misconception. Does generative AI search the internet? I think a lot of people just assume that when you ask an AI a question, it's out there actively Googling the answer and summarizing it for you.
But the reality is, no, not automatically. An AI model does not inherently browse the web. The base model only relies on its pre-existing learned training parameters. It really only knows what it was originally trained on. However, developers can build an AI application around the model that specifically feeds it new context, like connecting it to a search engine, an API, or maybe a company's private internal documents. And this brilliantly illustrates a technique called retrieval augmented generation, or RAG. When you submit a query, the system first retrieves relevant information from an external database. It then adds that retrieved information to your prompt as context, hands it all over to the AI model, and then the model generates a response. RAG essentially hands the AI an open reference book to read from before it formulates an answer for you, ensuring the output is based on specific, accurate data rather than just guessing from memory. Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, the limits of AI. Let's talk about why AI gets it wrong. For all its brilliance, this incredible machine isn't flawless. There are several key limitations you absolutely need to know. The most famous is hallucinations. Because the AI is basically playing a probabilistic guessing game of next token prediction, it can very easily string together words that sound completely fluent and confident, but are actually entirely unsupported or factually incorrect. Add in potential biases present in the original training data, massive privacy and copyright concerns, and the fact that an offline model relies on outdated patterns, well, you quickly realize that fluent output does not automatically mean factual output. Because of these limitations, this is perhaps the most important takeaway for how we use this stuff. Generative AI is best viewed as a powerful tool to assist people. It is not an automatic replacement for human judgment. It absolutely still requires strict, informed human oversight to verify facts, check logic, and ensure the output is actually correct. To wrap up our explainer today, I want to leave you with this perfect, punchy summary directly from Brolly Academy. Generative AI learns patterns from data during training and uses those learned patterns, together with the user's input, to generate new content. You now understand the factory pipeline, the tokens, the predicting, and the limits. So the final question for you is, now that you know exactly how this powerful assembly line works behind the scenes, how do you plan to safely and creatively harness it in your own daily workflows? Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer, and we'll see you next time.